Hello everybody, welcome once again to another video. I am Base Jalarin, and this is my second part of my July haul, where we don't actually stop the hype train after Anime Expo. We did not come down from that manga buying high during Anime Expo. We came back from Anime Expo, and then we treated the rest of the month like it was an anime convention, because I probably bought just as many things as I did at Anime Expo the rest of the month, so I expect a good long video of me showing off a bunch of crap to you today. August is definitely going to be a lot chiller of a month. I'm definitely going to have to cut back a whole damn lot. So let's just get on with the video. Let's get on with the pickup. So we're going to start with the top tier trash. I have officially bought myself my first actual physical volumes of hentai. Yay, I can finally join the rest of you awful degenerates in the fact that I have porn in my collection now. Actual, legitimate, 100% uncensored pornography. But what pornography did I decide to get? Well, of course I had to pick up Infamy Incarnate in a book, and I'm going to have to cover up because there are titties on the cover, and I'm going to have to cover up. It is Metamorphosis. Now, if you've heard of Metamorphosis, if you have a scrap of empathy to you, your heart is hurting because, oh boy, Metamorphosis is a bit of a sit, let me tell you. If you are one of those edgelord fuckboys who feel like having emotions in general is a weakness and you feel nothing for nobody, you're just going to get through Metamorphosis just fine. You're going to get your rocks off. You're going to have a fine time. But if you have a scrap of empathy at all, there's going to be a point in Metamorphosis, regardless of your level of tolerance, where you feel that the manga went too far. Like my husband, who is a lot more of an avid hentai reader than I am, he's reading it, and he got to almost the end, and he's like, this isn't too bad. I mean, this is bad, but this isn't too bad. And then he read the last chapter, and that was what got him. The last chapter will definitely hook, line, and sink you if you manage to survive most of Metamorphosis, because it is about a girl who cannot catch a fucking break. Every single chapter has to do with her suffering in some shape or form, and it is so emotionally crippling. Like, I felt like I had to take a shower afterwards. It was just really just intense. And I hear that Shindoel's other works are apparently a lot worse. Like, Metamorphosis isn't their worst work, which is kind of scary because I couldn't get through that without having to take a bit of a break. Not because, like, the explicit sex, oh, it overwhelmed me. It's just the human suffering that is depicted in Metamorphosis is a little too intense for porn. The other hentai that I got, gonna have to cover up with Boobies once again, that is Does This Strange Body Please You? And it's about monster girls, primarily about centaurs, so you got your good horse fucking in this one particularly. But there's also other, like, segments about, like, ninja bat girls. There's, like, a couple chapters about yetis in some form or another. But it's got all your basic kinks. It's got all your basic stuff. It's got horse fucking, of course, you got your centaurs. It's got regular ass sex. It's got, like, NTR. It's got incest. It's got piss drinking, which I guess is a thing that people do enjoy. Yeah, it's just your standard porn. I got it because I found it with Bizarre Individual. We were talking about this sale that was going on Right Stuff, and about how they also had porn as a part of their sale. And I was like, oh, this one's got centaurs. It's essentially just people fucking horses. And I showed it to my husband, and my husband, with, like, the familiarity one would, like, use to address, like, a family member, he was like, oh, I've read that one, which was, like, wild to me. He just, like, it must have been a really good read for him. But yeah, just the fact that he reacted to it so positively, like it was a fond memory of his that he read it. I had to get it just to figure out what the fuck. I think maybe every like 1 or 2 months, I'll just go on to Faku and get a couple more books, because regardless of the content, Faku's books are like really high quality. Maybe it's because they don't publish a lot within like a span of a year, but the paper is really, really nice. The makeup of the book is like really, really good. The books have like slip covers, which is something you don't see a lot on manga. And underneath the slip covers, they got other shit. Like, I'll show you the beneath the slip cover of Does This Strange Body Please You, because I think it's really cool. It's got character designs underneath the slip cover, which is cool as balls, by the way. I think that's really neat. I only have one other manga that has a slip cover of that kind of nature, which is really cool, but yeah, Faku books, strangely well put together. Maybe it's because they're expecting you to put it through some wear and tear, you know, while you do the deed. I don't know, maybe, but yeah, those are the hentai that I got this month. And now I'm just going to move on to light novels. I'm going to speed through these a little quickly, because we got a lot of stuff to show. Got Perfect Blue, Awaken from a Dream. Mostly because I needed to... I've had the other Perfect Blue light novel for a while, and I figured I should pick up the other one eventually. Another thing that's actually... My husband actually participated in a bit of manga buying this month, so he also got a light novel, and that is actually Death Note, Another Note, The Los Angeles BB Murder Cases, and the reason he wanted to get it is because he used to have this novel. And what happened was he lent it to one of his exes, and that ex in particular was one who he lent out a lot of stuff to, and he never got it back because they broke up and they like stopped talking to each other. Like, she like had like a game of his, I think. She got this novel, and like iconically she has one of his jackets, like his favorite fucking jacket, she like wound up like taking, and they never spoke to each other, so he never got it back. And so I guess like the goal for, like, his life goal is to just get back these things that he lent to her in some way. But yeah, we got that. And I also caught up with Monogatari, and so I got Kabuki Monogatari and Hana Monogatari. Just add that to the Nisio scene horde. The reason why my husband convinced me to get Death Note, Another Note, is because it's also written by Nisio scene, so I added that to the Nisio scene horde. I got a horde of Nisio scene stuff because I'm a big fucking fan. Alright, so we're just going to go through this manga. It's in no particular order. I usually haven't ordered things, but we've got a lot of shit to do, so let's just get on with it. First up we have Polar Bear in Love, Volume 3. More just adorable cuteness. Just... the illustrations in here are so simple, and they're just so adorable. Especially after the things that I bought this month. I needed a little bit of cute healing, and Polar Bear in Love is definitely something that heals my soul, for sure. Next up, I found this at Second & Charles for like half price, more than half price, so I figured I'd start picking it, because it's a title I've been interested in, but I haven't really bothered to start picking up, so now I have a reason to, and that is Children of the Sea, I almost said Whales, Volume 1. I really, really like the art style on this. It's really unique and really kind of like sketchy, almost. It's a very unique art style, and it's something that I can definitely get behind. So yeah, very excited about this. Definitely excited to pick up the other 4 volumes in the series. Speaking of Children of the Something, we have Children of the Whales, Volume 5. Another excellent volume. The cover is fucking beautiful. Like, also you can see the embossing in the light, but it's a beautiful fucking cover. I love this series to death. If you haven't started this series already, what the fuck are you doing? Get on that. Like, for reals. I also got Dead Dead Demons, Dead Destruction, Volume 2. I love this one. I feel like it came to me sort of falling apart. Like, I'm afraid to open it all the way, but some of the color pages are kind of loose in there, which is kind of scary to me. I don't know if that's because of Amazon, because they like to fuck up their books in the mail, or if it's just because of the printing. But other than that, that's just a nitpick. But this is wonderful stuff, always from Inio Asano himself. More Inio Asano greatness. Next I got Little Devils, Volume 1. This is about a guy, and he's like a really powerful hero, and he defeats like this, like Satan, essentially. And Satan breaks up into all, like, different demons, and they're little children, and so he's instructed by literal God to take care of these children. So, it's just about him taking care of these pieces of Satan that have come to him as children, and it's just so adorable. Like, the designs are just absolutely just fluffy and cute. You wouldn't believe that these small little children make up fucking Satan. But, yeah, this is adorable as shit. If you like adorable things, definitely get on that. Speaking of adorable things, we have Laid Back Camp, Volume 3. I don't think the next one's coming out till, like, November, so I can take my time with this one, but I'm obviously not going to. But, yeah, it's just more of the same. More fun camping shenanigans with cute girls, which is... Cute girls with anything is always just a fun time. You gotta agree with that. Next up is something else I got from Second and Charles from their clearance rack. So this was like $1. I figured I'd pick it up eventually because, you know, you gotta add to the Satoshi Kon collection, and that is Seraphim, 266,613,336 wings. See, buddies, no, everybody who, like, shows this manga doesn't bother with the number, so I was like, challenge fucking accepted, bros. So, yeah, that is Seraphim, 2,666,000, fuck numbers, wings. I haven't gotten into this, I know it's incomplete, all in one volume, but I figured I have Tropic of the Sea and I have Opus, so I figured I'd also get Seraphim. There's one other Satoshi Kon, it's like a collection of short stories. I don't know if it's out of print or not, but I figure I should probably get on that eventually. Next up we have Kakegurui, Volume 6, and this covers shit that wasn't in the anime, which was sad because it was kind of implied to have been in the anime, because if you watch the opening and have context, there's something in the opening that looks like it was going to be a part of what happens in this book, which is Yumeko versus, I think it's like the secretary or something of the student body council, and yeah, just there's some Yuri vibes, but definite Yuri vibes with this one. But yeah, this is starting to cover stuff that we didn't get in the anime, so rejoice. There's a fucking fly in here now. Go away. You're ruining my video. There's that. Next up we have a single volume, and it's a horror manga called Ibitsu. It's pretty freaky. It's not like terrifying. It's not like edge of your seat freaky, but it's freaky enough. The art style definitely lends it to being a lot more creepy than it is. It's about this guy who's like kind of haunted by this girl who wants to be his little sister, and she's kind of like an urban legend. And there's like a twist near the end that kind of makes it worth it to read. It's not the best horror manga I've ever read, but it's definitely worth reading. It's not like a pile of trash, and it's all in one volume. It's thick as hell, but it's all in one volume, and so yeah, just a quick pickup. Next up, we have the beginnings of the damage that was done from the Barnes & Noble buy two get one free Viz sale, and the Viz sale is definitely something that added to this haul substantially. And one of the things it did was allow me to actually catch up with One Punch Man. So I got volumes 11 through 14. So I am caught up with y'all. So now I can just start collecting it regularly, which is fine, I guess. I can just start collecting these like a normie. Got volume 11, volume 12, volume 13, and volume 14. So yeah, I'm all caught up with One Punch Man, thanks to the Viz Media sale at Barnes & Noble. There's more to come, but that's going to be later, but definitely stick around for that, because you're going to be fucking surprised. I finally got I Am a Hero Volume 6. I caught up with a lot of stuff that I was behind this month, and this was one of the things very excited about this one. I'm very interested to figure out what the fuck's going on with, like, the gelatinous tree bone thing that's going on the cover. Next up is something else I got from Second & Charles. This is actually something my husband bought. Like I said, my husband bought a couple of things this month, which is amazing to me, but hell yeah. And that is Battle Royale Angel's Border. This centers around the girls who kind of held themselves up in the lighthouse during the story. I only read, like, the first part. I haven't gotten around to the other story that's in this. But, yeah, I might as well, I mean, pick it up. I've been meaning to pick it up for the longest fucking time, because I have the novel itself proper, and I got these two right here. I might as well pick up whatever Battle Royale stuff that I can, while I can. Something else that my husband bought, which was actually really surprising to me. I didn't think I'd ever actually have this in my collection, because it was never really something that was on my radar, like, at all. But it was on my husband's radar, and that would be Goblin Slayer. The reason my husband wound up picking it up, because in the very beginning, one of the main character, she goes to join a guild, and they're like, alright, welcome to the guild, please fill out this adventure sheet, and it's straight up, if you look at the panel, let me show you, it's a D&D sheet, D&D character sheet, and he thought that was so fucking hilarious that he caught us up to Volume 3. Volume 4, I think, is coming out later this year, and so, yeah, we got the Goblin Slayer in my collection now, courtesy of my husband. I haven't gotten around to reading this yet, but he liked it well enough, so, I mean, if one of us likes it, it's got a place in this collection, I guess. Next up, this was actually found by one of my friends on Tumblr, Pepper, and she found an eBay listing where someone was selling 2 of these, so she bought one and I bought the other, and that would be this. And this is a Magic the Gathering manga that is an adaptation of the Planeswalker novel, The Purifying Fire, which stars Chandra Nalaar, who can be seen here on the cover. If you are familiar with Magic the Gathering at all, you will know that there was, for the Chandra versus Jace duel deck, there was a regular version, and there was an alternate version that was made in Japan that had alternate art that was more of an anime style, anime Jace, anime Chandra. They're both kind of like iconic. And this was done by the same artist who did the alternate art for those cards. And yeah, this is just an adaptation of the novel. I know it did not get completed. I know it was discontinued because there were complications probably from the adaptation process. Things could not get complete. I've seen the cover for the second volume. I don't know if the second volume actually exists, though. But this is definitely something that I've wanted in my collection for a really, really long time because I'm an absolute Magic the Gathering fiend. I love Chandra Nalaar. She's probably one of my favorite Magic the Gathering characters. And this is a disgrace, though. This is Gideon Jura. This don't look like Gideon Jura. Gideon Jura is a beautiful slab of beef, and this is just a Bishonen Twiggy man who is impersonating Abs Jura. It's an imposter, but yeah, I'm just super excited to own that in my collection as a Magic the Gathering fan. I also decided to finally start Yokai Girls. So I've never really had a monster musume in my radar at all, but Yokai Girls seemed more in my alley because it has to do with yokai instead of just general monster girls. I feel like there's, I don't know, maybe just because the lore behind yokai is a lot more interesting to me as like a person. So I caught up with Yokai Girls, got Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. This series is cute enough. I really like it. I can stand the fan service. It's pretty good. Next up, I finally got, now that Volume 6 is coming out this month, I figured I'd get Volume 5 of Blade of the Immortal. I'm kind of slow to pick up this one. I don't know why. I like it, but I don't like it enough to like be like on its ass. But Volume 5 is thick as hell. It is heavy, and it's beautifully printed. Like, the quality is absolutely amazing. Like, this size of omnibus is perfect for Dark Horse, because Dark Horse usually publishes, like, the awkward, short, fat ones. So I'm glad that they're giving Blade of the Immortal, like, the big omnibus treatment, but it is heavy as shit, and it's going to be hard to read. Next, I already have this series, like, in completion, but I saw these at Secondhand Charles, and I figured they're really interesting. They're not, like, super rare and expensive, had to get it because they're selling it for millions of dollars on eBay or something. But I figured I'd get them because they're just really, really cool. They're like sort of a piece of history. And those would be Trigon, the Volumes 1 and Volume 2, which is a complete series of Trigon, but they are in hardcovers, and they were published by Barnes & Noble. So I think what the story behind these was, like, specific Barnes & Noble hardcover copies, is that Barnes & Noble was dipping their toes into selling manga back in the day. And they figured they needed some sort of draw, because Borders was already selling manga up the ass. And Barnes & Noble needs something maybe to give them an edge, maybe to pull people over to their retailer to buy manga from them. And so they released these exclusive hardcover books. I think there's a Hellsing one, I do believe, a Volume 1. I don't know if any more of these exist, but the biggest testament to the fact that these are pretty old is that these are really nice hardcovers. Like, they are really, really nice. Like, really good. But they are $11.95, which is wildly bizarre to me, because if these were published in current day, they would be at least $20. So I just decided to get them because that's pretty cool. That's a really neat piece of manga history. Next up, I got, this is an incomplete series. It did not get completed here in the States, which is very unfortunate. It was 2 volumes away from getting completed, and that would be Doge in work, and this is the manga that I've been talking about for a while. It's the same person who did Aho Girl, and I watched the anime for this and I absolutely loved it, so I figured I'd finally pick up the manga, and so I got Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and Volume 4. The only unfortunate thing about this is that these are tiny as fuck. These are small, and they're 4-koma, so the print is actually really fucking tiny as heck. So I feel like you gotta, like, really put your, like, face up real close to it if you want to read it at all. So, yeah, I got that, finally. Sorry for the awkward jump cut. My camera ran out of my camera. My phone ran out of, space. So, let's just get right on back on into the haul. And next we have Grand Blue Dreaming, the manga that is definitely about diving and not about just getting plastered-ass drunk in college. This is an absolute funny fuck comedy. It is absolutely fantastic. The anime is airing right now, so if you don't want to buy it, you can watch it now on Crunchyroll, I think. Unless it's on Amazon, in which case, whoops. But it is an absolutely funny series, and if you can watch it, because I forget what platform it's on right now, definitely do so. But otherwise, the manga is fan-fucking-tastic. I definitely recommend it. It is funny as shit. Next up, we have Colosseum, Volume 2. Just more really just over-the-top action. Like, there's a side story where in universe, Vladimir Putin really wanted to ride a bear, so he, like, made this bear that'd be like the ultimate bear, but this bear winds up like causing so much havoc that he has to go down and put the bear down himself. He's like, oh man, that was a really crazy strong bear, I wonder how that happened. But yeah, it's just more of the same wild, crazy, over-the-top action nonsense. Definitely look into Colosseum if you're looking for more of just a high, just masculinity, muscles everywhere, people fighting with their bare fists kind of manga. It's funny as shit. Next up we have a bit of a treat, and this I found at Secondhand Charles, and the second I saw it, well, the store was pretty much empty. It was like an hour before they closed, and I screamed, fuck, oh fuck, as loud as I could in this fucking store, because I saw these and I was super excited, because this is something that you never expect to ever find. It's something you never expect to actually ever buy, and it is something that I'm never going to expect to ever complete. And that is Phoenix, Volumes 4 and Volume 5. I just found these chilling at Second and Charles, and I figured you're never going to have this opportunity again. If you ever find Phoenix just chilling somewhere for like MSRP or lower, you are never going to get that chance again. So if you ever find Phoenix, you buy Phoenix. And I don't know if this feeling is universal, but if you ever find Phoenix, the first thought that goes through your head is, I'm never going to finish this series. This is all I'm ever going to have of Phoenix. This is it. And I'm not somebody who aggressively goes after rare volumes. If I happen to find them, coolio, I will buy them. That is some sick shit. But I don't actively try and find deals. I don't actively try to, like, fill my collection with the rarest, most important volumes that I can. I just buy them as I see them. And I definitely saw these, so I definitely picked them up. I think this is probably the only volumes of Phoenix I will ever own in my collection. And that is totally okay with me, because I am down to own even a piece of Phoenix. Like, that alone is just so fucking cool to me. Next up we have Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. The first volume was an absolute treat to read, so I'm very excited to get into this one. I haven't yet, but I'm very, very excited to. Next up we have the Voynich, or Voynich. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. Hotel. This manga, it's kind of like a dark comedy of sorts about a haunted hotel, and there's this part, like I'm just going to tell you about this one part in this manga that absolutely was the funniest thing. It's the boiler of the hotel gets, like, broken, and so there's, like, no hot water, like, everything's, like, broken, there's nothing's working in the hotel because the boiler's been accidentally shut off. And we got these 3 girls in this hotel room, and they're all like, oh shit, the water's broken. Should we complain to the hotel staff? And immediately, like, out of fucking left field, it's like, no, we can't actually draw attention to ourselves because we're illegally growing weed in this hotel room. But yeah, this is just really funny. It's definitely got a supernatural vibe. It's dark comedy. I highly suggest you, if you haven't already, this is definitely one of the things that a lot of people were looking at, one of the new volume ones that people were actually having their eyes on. Another thing that I found at Second and Charles off of the clearance rack is Mermaid Saga, volumes 1 through 3. I figured with the announcement that Urusei Yatsura is coming out next year in its entirety, hooray, I figured I'd collect a little bit more classic Rumiko Takahashi. I don't think I'm ever going to get like her longer form series. Like, Inuyasha definitely is not something that I'm looking at. Maybe Ranma 1/2, maybe one day, but I figured I'd pick up like something of her that's a little more classic, a little more old. And so I figured I'd get Mermaid Saga, because my husband, when I mentioned to him that, oh yeah, Viz announced that they're going to republish Urusei Yatsura, he was all like, damn it, why don't they publish something else? Like, Urusei Yatsura is fine, why don't they republish, like, Mermaid Saga? So when I found Mermaid Saga, I was like, fine, let's just own Mermaid Saga if you're gonna, like, complain about it. Next up we have another volume of Murcielago. This is volume 7. I haven't gotten to this one yet, but I'm very, very excited. Murcielago is always just a fun, action-filled treat. And every once in a while, I like to flip through and find the titty, because there's always titty in Murcielago, and there's titty in this one for sure. I found the titty, you guys. I sniffed it out. And finally, we have the big offenders that are here because of the Barnes & Noble buy 2, get one free, buy 2, get one free manga sale. And I wouldn't have started this, at least in this bulk, because I was planning on getting this, and I mentioned it to my husband that I really wanted it, and that I was planning on getting it soon, and they started doing that Viz sale, and so I decided to hop on that shit, and I got Doro Hedoro, volumes 1 through 9. So that places me a little bit under halfway to catching up to the series. I believe they're at volume 22. So yeah, I've got a good little chunk of the series here with me. I don't know where to put this. I've run out of room. Volume 2. I'm very, very excited to read this. I've read Volume 1 so far, and it is very interesting. It definitely has some echoes of some classic Tsutomu Nihei stuff, because Kyu Hayashida, who is the woman who wrote and drew Dorohedoro, was actually one of his assistants, and you can see some echoes of Tsutomu Nihei's at least earlier work in here, but it's definitely got her own style that sets it apart as well. It's a really interesting sort of fantasy sci-fi Dorohedoro, and I'm very, very excited to have a good chunk of the series on me, because they're going out of print. Like on Amazon, it's all like, oh, we only have like 12 volumes of this, oh, we only have 9 volumes of that, you better hurry and pick these up, because once they're gone, they're going to be gone. And so I feel like I'm racing the clock now to pick up the rest of Dorohedoro. So, yeah, there's that. And finally, we have the big one. We have the big boy. This is a manga that I never thought I would own, ever. I never considered owning it. It didn't seem like something that I would ever buy. But me and my husband sat down and we marathoned the first season together, and my husband is marathoning the rest. I haven't gotten, every single time he watches it, I'm asleep. But I watched the entirety of season 1, and it was pretty fucking good. Even though I'm not a very big shonen fan, even though I'm definitely not a very big Shonen Jump fan, I have to admit, I did wind up falling a bit in love with this series, I must say. So you win. You win. I got My Hero Academia, volumes 1 through 13, which puts me up to date with the current series. Volume 14 is coming out next month, and fuck you all. Like I've said before, I'm not a very big shonen fan, not a very big Shonen Jump fan, but you got me here. My Hero Academia is good. You got me admitting it. It's a fine series. I'm glad to have it. It's got a home here in my shelves now. I'm just gonna show off all the volumes. Just show them off. But yeah, I really like My Hero Academia. Like, I didn't think I'd like it. I didn't really think that I would enjoy it, but I wound up marathoning all of season 1, and it was just captivating. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe my tastes are a little different than I thought. I don't know. We're just gonna have to see. And there it is. All of My Hero Academia that is currently out. And yeah, that was my entire July haul. It has shaped my collection more than any haul has shaped my collection before in the history of this YouTube channel. I'm definitely going to have to calm down for August, because that's a lot of manga. So yeah, that's about it. I'll see you sexy fuckers in the next video, whatever that may be. I have no idea what the fuck I'm ever going to do. It's all just unknown to me, but we'll try and see what we can do here. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.